So did you know the average commute time here in Grand Junction, Colorado is a whole 14 minutes? That's one of the reasons why I decided to move out here to Grand Junction about 15 years ago. We're going to get into my story on why I decided to move out here and why I would never look back. We're going to do it right now. What is going on, everybody? I'm Robert Hayes, and along with my wife Christie, we are the Hayes Home Group right here in Grand Junction, Colorado. If you're brand spanking new to this channel and you just want to know everything about what it's like to work, live, play, eat, sleep here in Grand Junction, make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash the bell. That way you're notified every single time we post a new video. And if you're even thinking about moving here to Grand Junction, we are helping so many people from all over the world move here, and we absolutely love it. So if you're even thinking about moving here, you gotta reach out. Shoot us a phone call, send us a text, send us an email, even send that carrier pigeon, whatever you need to do. We've got your back when moving to Grand Junction. So even just the thought of moving across town, nevertheless another state, it's certainly daunting. It's one of those things where in the back of your mind, now I've got to find a new physician, now I've got to find a new dentist, now I've got to, if you're one of the gals, I've got to find a place to get my nails done, my hair done, all that good stuff. So there's a lot to consider, but I wanted to tell you my story and why I decided to move out here in about 2007, and again, would never look back. So I was an 80s guy, grew up in the 80s, and at that time in Southern California, you could literally go to, basically in the heart of Orange County, California, to a place called Lion Country Safari. And it seemed like, and maybe it was because I was a kid, it took forever to get there. And it was a kind of a drive-through animal park, and you would just basically look out at giraffes and lions and the whole deal. Again, in the heart of Orange County, California. Now, of course, it's all subdivisions, it's giant buildings. That whole adventure park, animal park has been gone for years. So it was a different look, a different feel from the California that I grew up in. So in 2007, I decided to go ahead and make that move here to Grand Junction. And one of the first things that I've noticed, that I did notice when I moved out here, is driving through some of the neighborhoods, people walking dogs and just doing a little morning walk. Everyone waves hello. And that was the very first thing that I noticed when I moved out here, is just the absolute friendly environment. Everyone is super nice, always saying good morning, good night, all those things. So that was the first thing that I noticed. Now, the reason why we're not having Christie in here is because Christie grew up here. So really it's kind of my story versus Christie, who's grown up here. So leaving Southern California, the one kind of joke that I always talk about is the 4 seasons in California. You've got mudslide season, earthquake season, fire season, and smog season. So in Grand Junction, in contrast, we have just about as many sunny days as there are in Southern California. So I get the exact same sun, but in a town of 65,000 people versus in Orange County, it's probably 3 or 4 million people now in that little 20-mile radius. So just the stress level of not having to deal with, leaving it. I think I set my alarm at a certain time, and I had to be out of the house at, 6:37 to be able to make it to work on time by 7:30. Well, here, and especially now with the ability for you to be able to work remotely, so you no longer have to attach your quality of life to being able to relocate to a different state. A lot of folks that were helping from out of town and from other states all over the country have the ability, and some are even just making a phone call to their employer saying, look, it looks like you're not going to have any employees go back to the office. Is this something that's going to continue on where we can work remotely? And they're finding out their employers are saying, absolutely, move wherever you want. It doesn't matter. All you need is a laptop and a T1 or internet connection, and away you go. So I think that's really allowed a lot of clients now that maybe are thinking about relocating to Grand Junction. Now it's okay, we're gone. We no longer have to worry about or be, tethered to our employer here in the town that we live in. So back to my story. Moved out here to Grand Junction in 2007, and at that time, it took place in 2008, 2009, the old mortgage meltdown. That being said, we were still able to get into a property at that time that was about $200,000 to $250,000 less than what it would have been in Southern California. So we were able to definitely take advantage of that. And since that time, obviously, those home prices that have dropped during that mortgage meltdown have increased well over 100% since then. So the equity on those properties have come back and come back even more so. So the main things that I think enjoy about Grand Junction versus being in that big city is just the better nights of sleep. The stress level has certainly gone down to really just a minimal level. I mean, the everyday stresses, no matter where you reside in the country or in the world for that matter, everyone's going to have, problems to contend with. That's just life, right? But to not have the extra added stress that goes along with the regular normal life stuff of traffic being on top of that, just the millions of people, the crowds going even to the beach. You would think in California, you want to drive out to the beach. Even that's a stressful situation because the parking lots are absolutely jammed. You can't find a parking spot. You need to basically run out there at 9:30 just to be able to put your towel down on somewhere on the beach so there's nobody else around you. So in that aspect, it's a more calming feel for me moving out here when I did, and it's still the same. Grand Junction has only increased by about 1 to 1.25% per year as far as growth rate. So I think when I came out here in 07, it was probably in the neighborhood of 50-something thousand people, and now we're a whole 65,000 people in that 15 year stretch. So the growth rate is certainly manageable, but the great thing is you can see, kind of landlocked here in Grand Junction. You have the monument right there. You have the Grand Mesa off to the east, and then in the north you have a little mountain range called the Book Cliffs. So we can't ever grow to millions of people here just because, again, we're somewhat landlocked. So yeah, there'll still be kind of a slow growth rate if you come out here, and you'll notice that after the years go by. But there's still, again, minimal traffic. You can come out to these gorgeous surroundings and just have that better quality of life. So if you've been thinking about doing that over the last couple of years, and now with the ability to not have to be, again, locked down to your employer where you're at, we have all the recommendations for, again, the things that you need to find when you move to a new location, like a doctor, a dentist, all those sorts of places. We can certainly recommend those for you. Now, let's say that you can't work remotely. That's okay. Fear not. We have plenty of industry here in Grand Junction, especially health industry, manufacturing. There's tech companies over the last several years that have moved their entire operations out here. So just because you can't work remotely, don't be discouraged. We've helped, I can't tell you how many physicians, nurse practitioners, you name it, in the health field here in Grand Junction, which is probably maybe our #1 industry here. I haven't looked at the recent stats, but it's #1 or #2. So they're recruiting like crazy to get you to come out here to Grand Junction. So even though you can't work remotely, there's probably the industry that you're currently working in. There's going to be that industry here. And again, they're recruiting like crazy, signing bonuses, the whole deal. And then you've got this as your lifestyle versus the crazy lifestyle, the crazy town, big city, all the traffic, all the noise, pollution, congestion, and do it here instead in Grand Junction. And the other thing that's important that we can absolutely help you with, even on some of the videos on this channel, we've done neighborhood tours, we've done tours of certain subdivisions, so you can really get a feel of certain areas of town. You can always call or comment below and ask a question about a certain area of town, and we'll get right back to you. So we can definitely place you in based on, again, your lifestyle, what you're looking for, the quality of life that you want. Do you want to be kind of more in town, close to the social scene? Do you want to be in a serene environment like this on the west end of the valley? Do you want to be on the east end of the valley, closer to the Grand Mesa? All those things are important, and to hook yourself up with the right folks in Grand Junction is certainly important to be able to, again, hone in on that certain area of town. Life's too short. If you're thinking about it or it's been in the back of your mind, now's the time. Seize the day. If you're able to take that job that you're currently at now and work remotely anywhere that you want, why wait? Take advantage of Grand Junction, these gorgeous surroundings, have that better quality of life, that better lifestyle. The stress level's gonna come down, better nights of sleep, all that good stuff. And then on top of all that, I met my beautiful wife Christie here, so Grand Junction is always gonna have that special place in my heart, and we would never ever consider living anywhere else. So again, I hope that gives you just a more of a warm and fuzzy feeling about moving out here. If you have any questions at all, go ahead and reach out. Again, phone call, text, email. We've got your back when moving to Grand Junction. Until the next video, we'll catch you later.